Greetings, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is Alas for the Angry Void. It is a reskinning of Alas for the Awful Sea by Storybrewers Roleplaying to tell a gothic science fiction story set among the stars. We're going to go ahead and go around and say hi to the folks we have with us here today. And we will be starting with Hollow. Hello!
Hello, I'm Hollow. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Jackson Mead, who also uses he, him pronouns, who is the merchant confidant.
Excellent. And now we will head over to Cleric. Hello.
Hello, I'm Cleric of Cord. I'm playing Fergus, who is the old sea dog, and the creature, which is now a very open secret to most.
Fergus is a perfectly normal human who originated from an extraterrestrial species. And now we will head over to Katy. Hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Katy. I use they, she pronouns. I'm playing Levitt Teague, who also uses they, she pronouns. And I'm playing, Levitt is the mercenary lover.
Excellent. Now, you may see us use safety tools from time to time. Like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it, or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or say or do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may contain gothic themes like gloom, despair, intense emotions, macabre scenes, romance, and curses, along with references to violence, alien creatures, colonialism, crime, death, exploitation, family issues, separation from family, homesickness, loneliness, starvation, sudden decompression, the vacuum of space, and vengeance. You can see that if you're watching live on Twitch by going into the chat and typing !Alas CW. It's for content warning. And that's also going to be there on rotation as soon as I remember to turn it on. There it is. Okay, it's going to go ahead and show up periodically. And finally, please remember we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. All right. Well, things have happened, as is oft the case. We're getting pretty deep into the narrative now. So, I've got a recap here that we'll get into. The time draws near. The void roils in anticipation, for soon the fate of one of its most troublesome parasites, humanity, will be decided. The decision will be made not on a planet or a space station, but on a comet, Attis, the spectral comet, so called because it phases in and out of reality. It hurtles at a speed of approximately 150,000 kilometers per hour toward a mysterious section of space known as the Null Zone in the Tauran sector. It's an empty place, known to cause ships' instruments to behave oddly, and a place where legends say anyone who enters is a different person when they leave. The CS Chimera even now descends to the comet's surface, and our protagonists are on board. Hopefully, we'll know for sure in a few moments. Within the last few days, plans have been formed. Through an ancient recording device, Fergus, the Chimera's pilot, and Jackson Mead, purveyor of canned goods, have been able to witness the event that began the slow destruction of Fergus's home planet, Val. Long ago, a dying sun was saved, but due to an accident with a dimensional corridor, it came at the expense of Val's sun, which was hastened toward its end. There is a device, a key, similar to the one that caused the sun to dim, that could once again be used to open the way through the void and into the beyond. That key is in the hands of the interstellar power group known as the Ascendancy, who may soon try to use it to cause a powerful destructive entity to be released into this dimension. The key was recently stolen by one of the Ascendancy's assassins, Euphemia Teague, the sister of Levitt Teague, a freelance assassin. Levitt has recently learned their long-deceased father Baxter tried to thwart the Ascendancy's plans for the last decade of his life, and feared the influence they might try to exercise over his children. So Levitt is now trying to prevent their sister from heading down a very dark path indeed. The religious scholar Irina Maynard has another interest in the key, but perhaps we'll hear more about that another time. It is now known to our protagonists that the Ascendancy's bid to control humanity's destiny will take place on the spectral comet. So they're trying to beat them there. With the help of a stellar map Jackson obtained from Caladrin, they were able to pinpoint the comet's path. Fergus has been chasing the comet for a couple of days now, watching as its strange properties cause it to phase in and out of this dimension. Now, finally, the Chimera, matching the comet's speed and rotation, has learned enough of its phasing pattern to find a safe window in which to land on it. But just as the Chimera is coming in for a landing, another ship has appeared, approaching the opposite side of the comet. It is not an Ascendancy ship, but from its markings, it's a vessel belonging to the Crown Mining Corporation. At the 11th hour, it appears there's another player on the board. Now, before we discover more, we must look back for just a moment. Levitt, you received a reply to a message that you sent, and the reply to your message was quite simply, you will see her in the place you agreed to be. Do your job. I'll bring her.
Okay.
And so, just as a little bit of catch up, Jackson and Fergus sort of decided they were going to take the Chimera to try to catch the comet before it got into the null zone. Are you good with that? Is that something you would have accompanied them?
Where did I tell Hickory I would meet him at?
You didn't specify. I think you asked him for a meeting place, if I recall correctly.
Okay, but my end goal was to go to the comet then, correct?
Well, that was the job you were hired for by
okay.
Wolf Grevel, but it just sort of depends on...
So I think that in my mind, that is what he is alluding to. So yeah, I would have went with Jackson and Fergus.
Okay. So, took a little time to be able to it took a little time, not in getting there. It doesn't take a long time because the comet's not traveling nearly as fast as the Chimera, but took a little time to be able to catch it at the right moment to get an entry window. Fergus kind of struggled with that a bit, but descending now onto the comet surface. I'm going to go ahead and those of you who are playing will be able to see a few images. I've got one that I already revealed in the handouts. It's just sort of what it looks like from a distance. I'm going to go ahead and show another one now as we're getting closer. I'm not going to, unfortunately, again, I don't have the rights to these images. These are just for reference that I'm showing to the players, but this one I do have a link for that I can show. And I can provide the link. That is sort of what you're seeing there as it is hurtling through space. And so on the other side, it is this long white ship that has the emblem of Crown Mining on it. That everyone's able to see that that ship is there, and it's going to probably, it's also trying to come in for a landing on the on another part of the comet. Now, one thing I am going to ask Fergus, because you have taken care here, and you are on the opposite side of the comet, do you try any last-minute things to avoid being, sensor-wise or anything, to avoid being noticed by the other ship, or do you just focus entirely on just landing?
I think he's going to try to be as unnoticed as possible. Again, so as he's coming in and he's matching the rotation in that window, he's going to try and make it look like they're hidden within the comet's atmosphere tail that envelops it. So I think that's what he's trying to do. He knows exactly where he's going on this comet. He's got this all plotted out.
So all you have to do,
he's able to do that.
Is just work in. You also have to work in a bit of bobbing and weaving as you're heading in, just to make sure that, and some sensor jamming to make sure that they're not going to see you. So I am going to ask you once again to act under pressure.
All right. Well, folks, here we go.
Please roll balance. Ah, excellent.
Oh.
Oh. Perfect.
I'm gonna need some scotch.
You're able to work the controls perfectly so that, and you know, set up. And again, you do have a state-of-the-art scanner system.
No.
So, you know, anything that comes in from their sensors, you can bounce around the Chimera. So you can see them; they cannot see you. You can even at this point, if you want. Do you want to listen in on any of their transmissions?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to broadcast that openly.
All right. So throughout the Chimera, or if you, to those who wish to hear it, you're going to hear this sort of coming in. All right. We have our window coming in for landing. Coming in for landing. 3, 2, 1. It's a little rough. It's a little rough. Everyone okay? Okay. And just you hear this pilot's voice. And you hear a transmission going back. That probably won't be received for a while. But transmissions are outgoing. It says, let's see, the mission control would be on, as I scramble back to remember what everything is called. Metaxas Hub, this is CMC Science Vessel. I named the fricking ship. This is CMC Science Vessel Vigilant. We have landed on Attis. We are there. Landing is successful. We'll be entering the null zone in approximately I think an hour 45 minutes. So you may not be able to receive any further transmissions at that point. But we'll do our best to provide updates as best we can. All right. Markov out.
I shut off the comms. And I turn to Jackson. Is Jackson still on the bridge with Fergus?
Yep.
Fergus will turn to Jackson and go, where do your loyalties lie beyond yourself? What is your end game? I need to know.
What if I said I really like trains? Would you believe that?
What if I said, are you willing to work with me to keep them from destroying this universe, from releasing whatever it is that wants to come through to take out humanity?
I've agreed with you that release is bad. We've come to that sort of agreement. My end game really is reestablishing the use of the old lines, the old ways. One for galactic stabilization purposes, and second for capitalistic gain, as it were. But you seemed troubled when you heard the name Markov.
Yes. His ancestor named me, found me, helped me to survive when I first left. Well, I owe that family a debt. I don't care what happens to the rest of the Crown Mining Corp, but I do care what happens to that man.
What if this Markov person is counter to your goals? You still are. Where does your loyalties or honor lie in that situation?
I have an important question I have to ask right at this moment. Are you two trying to? Where are you having this conversation on the ship?
On the bridge.
We're on the bridge.
Okay.
Yep. Comms have been closed, by the way.
I need to know where Levitt is right now.
I probably would have stayed on the bridge as well, looking out the window, just nervously.
Okay. All right. So you are having this conversation within earshot of Levitt. Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, Levitt's over there.
Yeah.
Figured
Okay.
Levitt's going to stab
Right.
something.
Cool. Sorry, go ahead.
So where do your loyalties lie? In terms of this debt, it's very possible that their intentions may run counter to yours.
Unless under direct threat of harm or death to one of our crew, my people, I would prefer he remain alive.
Oh, I have no means of murdering anyone, so this is really about...
I've seen you throw a ham, Jackson.
That's not a murder. It's very
But was
far
it a
from
crime?
No, I mean, the crime was the ham not being eaten, really.
Trinket would agree. Trinket agrees with you. I don't know what... I don't trust the Crown Mining Corp. But unless Captain Markov acts directly against us for harm, I would prefer no harm come to him.
Sure,
or that he not be killed.
All right, so I just want to clarify: direct harm, cosmic harm. Because there's a lot of depth to this, right?
I would prefer he remain alive unless he shows intent to directly harm or kill one of my crew.
Okay, that's fine. Again, I'm probably not going to be doing any of the harming, so
right.
I mean, it's really kind of moot. Now, our friend over there. I hear that she's a pharmacist.
Leva's just like not paying attention. She's staring through the window, biting her nails.
We've got another view of the comet's surface that you can kind of see from here. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. Let me see if I can also post it here. There we go. In chat. This is it doesn't have that lander on it. This is again just for reference as to what this kind of thing sort of looks like.
Nothing that says V'ger.
No. That's somewhere else.
Yeah. Fergus, look, is this agreeable to you?
Oh, this is agreeable to me. I just think we should probably check in with the actual person capable of actual murder.
Yeah. Levitt, I will, because it's been a while, I will mention that the name Markov does have a certain degree of significance, but whether that's anything you wish to comment on is entirely up to you.
I cannot remember Markov.
Okay. Out of character, Markov is the name of your target.
Okay, I knew it was an M, but okay, that checks out. That makes sense.
Sorry. That's the Wolf Grevel. Rewinding back many episodes, Wolf Grevel hired you to take out Markov. He wanted it to look like an accident, basically.
Okay, yeah, I'm playing this close to my chest.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. He also said that Grevel also said that his people will have a team there on the comet as well. That they're going to steer clear of that part of it. They're leaving that part of it up to you, but you're not to interfere with each other. You now have more of an idea of who his people are at this point.
Okay.
But anyway, proceed.
Love it.
Yes.
Did you hear what I said to Jackson?
Yes, vaguely. Sorry, my mind is elsewhere.
Understandable. I was just saying that, except under direct threat of harm to my crew, my people, I would prefer Markov remain among the living. I owe a life debt to the family, namely my life.
All right. Sure. I'm mostly concerned about my sister anyway.
Understandable. I don't care what happens to anyone from the Crown Mining Corp, but I do care what happens to that captain.
As far as I know, Hickory is going to kill me after I get the chance to try to talk her down. So
we'll do our best to prevent that as well.
Well, that's slightly reassuring.
The goal is to keep the universe from being destroyed. The rest is open to negotiation.
I do love a good negotiation.
Oh, you are there. You are on the you've got this expansive comet in front of you. What would you like to do?
Can Levitt slip away and call her friend?
Oh yes, certainly.
Librarian, right?
Curator.
Curator. I was on the same page. I knew what I meant.
Yes.
Man, we just got here and you're all using lifelines, phoning a friend.
You're going to so you slip into another room. And you call and says, I'm trying wait, let me find my notes before as to the if any touchstones I created for the curator before I just start playing a random person. Oh, okay. That's okay. Yes, there we go. Yes.
I'm about to impart on something that could leave me dead. I just wanted to give you fair warning.
Oh, I see. Well, that would be unfortunate, but I understand. I think... Are you closer to the... You seem to be closer to the Prime Gate now, I think.
I believe so.
Ah.
The good news is if this is successful, I might be able to make sure that it's you that comes back.
Ah.
But
Excellent.
I'm not sure the success rate. It's rather up in the air at this point.
Ah, I see. I see. Well... there is little I can do from this side, but they may have still some of my. I gotta think about this. Is there? Are you asking for assistance? Is that?
I mean, if you have it to offer, I would take it. But mostly, this was a warning that I hope you have someone else you can rely on.
Oh, I see. I see. There may be. If you run into particular, the best I can assist is if you run into particular certain technologies that I aided with there in that place, then I might be able to help you with those.
What sort of technologies?
Well, I do not know if they had the. You see, there is. I know that they had placed. In some cases, I know that there were those who, that they were making use some time ago when the one I think some of you call Caladrin and Izariel put together some of the devices for the use on the moon of Azoth. There was a let me see. Let me come up with a good. Let me make a good name for this. Oh, okay. Hey, thank you for the raid, folks. Hello. We're just we have landed on a comet. Things are about to happen. There is a. Yes, there is a temporal inverter that they placed in use with the one gate, and I believe they might have with this one also. That is used. I use it when I am. It is a somewhat more primitive version of the technology that I use when I am preserving the worlds and life forms. If you come across it, you might be able to. Though it, of course, I would not normally advocate making use of it for something as simple as an individual conflict, but if it comes down to it, it could be applied in that direction.
What does it do?
Oh, well, as I had stated before, it is very it is rather a complicated branch of hypermathematics to fully explain. But
Can you explain it to me like I'm 5?
It will cause them to cease movement through time.
Wonderful. That's very simple. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Yes, but it prevents the field of time from being interacting with any of its targets. You see, until such time as you release them, and then it returns.
All right.
So
Good to know.
They are frozen, I think you would say, in time.
That could be helpful. Thank you for your help, Curator.
You are most welcome. Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, I'll do everything I can to help you for all the help you've given me. I don't want to say don't bet on it, but at this point, I've sort of signed my life away in order to get a message across to someone, but hopefully that message is what you need as well.
And that is, your efforts are appreciated.
Right. Thank you for the last talk, and hopefully this all goes in your favor.
Hopefully, we shall see soon.
She'll hang up.
Yes. Yes. A preservation has, the curator's form of preservation has now been, in some ways, just explained a bit. In that basically seems to any life that the curator wishes to preserve is apparently frozen in time. Oh, what are we doing?
I think Levitt's waiting until we land.
Okay. Well, you have landed on the comet. It's now just a question of
Okay.
what we
waiting
need to
until what we're waiting for the game plan, I guess.
do.
Fergus is going to tell Trinket to stay on board the ship, regardless. And then Fergus is going to go to the locker where the my brain just blanked on the word, but let's call it extravehicular travel, as it were.
Yes. So you're gonna need. So you have spacesuits, which you will need when you are on this comet. From what you can tell, there is some kind of atmosphere inside. You think there is probably. So you'll have to get in there before you can know whether it's safe to remove helmets or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you've got enough spacesuits and everything for everyone.
Okay.
Are you saying, is there like some sort of, are you going to get like some sort of buggy or something to get in to travel across the surface, or
I think Fergus has kind of I think in his head there's an amorphous plan of how to neutralize the crown mining ship.
okay.
And I'm not sure what that Fergus is not sure what that looks like right now. I'm not sure what that looks like right now as a player. But I think as he's going through he's checking through the suits and everything like that and setting them out for anyone who might want to utilize them. He's trying to figure out how best to do that. If there's a way that he can, like I said, neutralize this ship somehow. Or the people in it. I'm not sure.
Well, your scans of the ship will tell you that it's a crown mining science vessel. And there are not a lot of those, but they exist. It's going to have probably it's not going to have a huge crew on it. Mm-hmm. It's going to have probably somewhere around, I want to say about a dozen crew members, maybe.
Just had an idea.
Mm-hmm.
My science vessel, scanners, sensors, external. Fergus starts dressing in one of the spacesuits. making sure that he's got his trusty wrench multi-tool with him. And I think his plan is, he's not saying anything. He's just getting dressed. But his plan is he's going to, he wants to sneak up on the ship and destroy the sensors, all the external sensors.
So you want to head to the CMC ship and take out their sensors? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Are you doing this by yourself, or are you taking anyone with you?
If anybody asks what he's doing, he'll tell them. But if not, they just see Fergus putting on his spacesuit, getting ready to look like he's getting ready to exit the Chimera.
I don't even know how the sausage is made. I'm good.
I'm going to also put on a spacesuit because I'm going to go. Hickory said to go where I was supposed to go, so I've got to go find Markov.
Okay. So there is. I will say, for the sake of convenience, there is more than one buggy if you have them. What
kind of distance are we talking about on this asteroid? Circumference wise.
Yeah, it's not the size. Okay, so it's not going to be like, we're not even talking. It's not too big.
5?
Yeah, it's basically within 5 kilometers.
Okay.
Basically, roughly, is what we're looking at.
All right.
And so as far as like circumference, I mean, and that's yeah. So it's going to be less than that, like 1 to 3 probably if you're going like around it. So it's not huge. It is big enough to house stuff.
Yep.
But so you can do that. You have means if you want, because again you did so well on the concealment and scanner adjustment roll. There's an option if you want to even try to track where the people are that as they emerge from the ship. Which they are doing, by the way. I need to point this out.
Which they are doing? Okay.
They're getting ready to. They're starting to come out of the ship.
All right. Yeah. So. Fergus is just going to. He's going to. He wants to get a body count, see who's merging the ships, see if Markov is one of them. And if he has to take the people out, that's fine by him as long as it's not Markov.
Okay. I think to figure out which one is okay. So you have life signs, and is there a particular way you want to figure out which one is Markov?
Fergus would make the presumption that as the ship's pilot, the ship's captain, that he will stay on board the ship, that he doesn't have duties off ship, that his duty is to the ship. So if there's anybody left on board the ship when they all exit, as he's counting heads, he's going to assume that the one on his ship is Markov.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If there's more than one, then that's left on the ship, he's not going to worry about that. But I think that's how his brain would determine that.
I see. And so this is just with working with scanners, right? That's basically what we're talking about. Okay.
Yep.
How is Levitt approaching this?
Levitt's just going in.
Okay. Are you going to try to intercept any of the people before they leave the ship, or are you just going to wait? Are you going to wait for them to leave? Or are you, when you say you're going in, I'm sorry, are you going to the other ship, or are you trying to go into the Comet?
I'm going to the Crown mining ship where Markov would be.
All right,
And I think I'm going to duck by I'm going to sneak on board. If I see someone, the first person I see, I'm going to do that thing where I grab them around their neck,
Yes.
So I can ask them where Markov is and then silence them.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and I presume you're both going independently.
Yeah. Definitely. And Fergus he's got his tablet that's tied into the ship's systems. He's the captain. That's how he does things. So I think he's using that to track the scanners and keep abreast of all this information that his sensors are picking up. And he's going to use that to aid him in coming up upon them without being noticed.
Okay. Jackson, are you staying on the ship or are you doing something else?
Let's see here. Jackson has gone back to his quarters and is having a not so occasional ham of his own. But he is doing the goddamn decency to cook the ham first. Some people eat it straight from the can, and that's awful.
Cricket would disagree and is probably following you.
Probably. But as I am partaking of this ham, this delicious canned ham that is definitely not spam, I would like to see what's beyond here.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I'm gonna be hopping back and forth a little bit as we do our exploits here. What I'm gonna call for, a number of things. As I now have sort of an idea of what everyone is doing. Let's see. For the first off, Levitt, do you have a particular move for the being stealthy thing that we're looking at?
No, it would just be probably balance.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. I'm thinking acting under pressure. So I'm going to have you act under pressure. I think for Fergus, I think that's, unless you have, again, something specific to what you're doing, I think it's probably also going to be acting under pressure. What do you think?
Read a situation.
Reading a situation actually would work for that too, yeah. Okay, so we'll go with, for you for read a situation, and Jackson will be sensing what's beyond. I just want to see what all the rolls are, and then we're going to...
Well, can I roll brawn because I'm going to capture somebody?
Something I was thinking about is that you could do this could be acting with force, and you're not necessarily trying to do damage, but you're taking hold of a situation.
Yeah,
could be to intimidate.
I'm like wrapping my arm, and I'm not going to try to kill them. I'm just going to do like a sleeper hold on them. Knock them out.
Yeah. It could be act with force, or it could be intimidate another. Both of those use brawn. Okay. So it's really just a question of I just want to tell you what you want to know type deal. Everyone's doing very well.
I'm just asking where Markov is.
Where Markov is. Yeah, that's really it. Okay. So we have from Jackson, we have we have the greatest success. So
they just got progressively bad.
And then 7 to 9s for Fergus and Levitt. Okay. So, Fergus will get to ask. Let me see here. Okay, since what's beyond is going to take me just a moment, I'm gonna come back to that in a second. I'm gonna start, I think, with I'm gonna go ahead and start with Fergus's here. This is read a situation, and so you get 2 questions.
Okay. Who or what is my biggest threat?
As you are scanning for CMC mining, the CMC mining vessel, you're picking up a signature as you're realizing things based on analysis of not only the weight of the vessel, but also So there are a couple of elements that, again, you have very advanced scanning equipment. There are a couple of elements you're able to pick up that are on the ship, very close together, that you realize could be used to cause an explosion. So you think they might have explosives on board that ship. They did not bring any of them. They're not bringing any of them with them as they are exiting. But there is apparently a store of explosives there on this peaceful science vessel, on the Vigilant. There's a store of explosives.
Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to know who or what's in control or what's most vulnerable. Oh no, who or what is my biggest threat? I just asked that. Never mind.
You just asked that.
So never. Scheisse.
Or if you'd prefer, I can come back to you in a moment.
Yes, please.
Okay. Let's go to Levitt real quick, because you're going to slip in quietly. You sort of see this line of folks heading off in a particular direction in their spacesuits, and there's about the line that's heading out consists of about, I want to say, half a dozen people, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. But there, you can tell there's still a few folks still on the ship, and it's one of those that you want to kind of get and put in a headlock type deal, right?
I get the last one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, one of the last ones that's sort of heading out. Okay. So there's like an 8th person getting ready to head out, and let's see. You were doing. Did we decide if it's intimidate or if it's acting with force?
Probably intimidate, so I can get an answer out of them.
Yeah. Okay, that'll be fine. So 7 to 9. They choose one of the following that is within their ability. Get out of your way for now. Give you something they think you want, or tell you what you want to know or what you want to hear. Okay. So knowing that, that's probably not going to be too difficult. And you ask them, where's Markov, right? This is a guy is putting on a helmet as you are able to kind of, I think, sneak into the ship and through sort of, there's like you can infiltrate. There's like a secondary airlock you can go through to circle around and get this guy. Or do you wait for him to put on the helmet and go out and then leave him in the vacuum? It's up to you. Which do you prefer?
That's what I do, yeah.
Vacuum? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got him, actually, as he's sort of trailing along last, and he's like, he's in the lead! He's in the lead! He's sort of gesturing toward the line of people.
I look at him through like the little window and just sort of salute and turn and head to the lead.
Okay. Do you knock him unconscious, or do you leave him?
He's gonna die in the vacuum, isn't he?
Oh, okay. You're gonna. Well, that was sort of my question. Are you gonna take off his helmet, or?
Yeah, because it's just gonna be easier that way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can kill him. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is you've killed a crown security officer.
Not my first, won't be my last.
Are you concealing the body, or are you just leaving it there?
I'm pulling the body into like a storage room or something like that.
Okay,
yeah,
you can get
something like
in there.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Are you switching suits with him, or are you just gonna...
No.
Okay,
I'm not going that far. I'm just going as quick as I can to where he told me Markov was.
Okay. You're getting ready to follow them. They're heading toward an entrance that leads into the comet. Jackson has sensed what's beyond, and You got a 10 plus. You're receiving visions and truths. Is there anything in particular you're meditating on when you're doing this?
No, I'm just opening myself up to the area around the comet or where we're going. Just trying to understand what people are after, but like on a metaphysical level.
Gotcha. Understood. Yes. Okay. So, you're in a very interesting space right now. There is this susurration of voices that you can start to pick up on, coming from below. And you're realizing that this is there is a feeling not unlike the feeling that you got, the sort of feeling you get near the gate or when you're passing through the gate. And among the voices, you can hear a slightly familiar one saying, "Yes, here is almost time." As you hear the voice of the Reaper, and you can hear. Let's see. And you can hear the voice of the warden is like right. Yes, who seems to be saying things that are like numbers, counting down. Yeah, almost, and then occasionally it's interspersed with almost visible. Good. Yes. And then he seems to get interrupted, and he's speaking to something. Yes. Okay, yes, good. My understanding is that there will be some petitions. Yes. There's... very soon. I'll have that. Yeah, they're already... I can tell they're out trying to advocate for themselves. Yes. All right, I'll perform the check. A check is about to be performed. You have this sense, and it's strange. It's like you're witnessing... Your brain turns this into metaphors a little bit.
Okay.
So that you can handle what's going on. And you see... you see someone, this sort of kind of almost big, sort of hulking individual coming forward and unlocking a series of cells in a prison. And you're getting a view of the prisoners.
Ooh.
Now this big hulking individual, if you look at him closely enough, you can see scales. And you see that this is an individual you have communicated with before. Looks in humanoid form, looks even more like their son. As these doors are being opened, you see one of them. Okay, let me see if I can remember actually what I decided long ago these folks look like. Okay. And again, it's like sort of goes back and forth between indefinable thing and person. Is sort of the vision drifting back and forth. You see, coming out of one cell, getting ready to be lined up somewhere, there's an individual who looks like this phasing sort of crystal made of light is the best way I could say it. Kind of like, almost like, it's like a large, almost snowflake pattern that keeps shifting, made of light, and then just sort of coalesces into, just for your vision's purposes, into just sort of a glowing person, you think, who is similar, but every now and then you get sort of a shaft of light. And they're wearing, and in your vision they're kind of wearing, they're wearing spectacles, and seems somewhat sort of mild-mannered, but just sort of looks around at everything just sort of curiously and interestedly, mildly curiously. The second individual coming out of the cell, for a moment you see this, it's like they were sort of digging in a corner. Not trying to escape, but sort of building something. Like an anthill. And you see they get up, and it's this sort of strange mottled furry thing with multiple eyes. More than two. For a moment. And just sort of cracks its neck. And for a moment it's like they're wearing overalls for a second. As it sort of shifts through. And as a person more, they look kind of like they are a hard worker, calloused hands. It's someone that is, as they are brought out. You see that you can see into their cell. There's a little garden in there that they have created. Yeah. I should say in the cell of the first one, you can also, as it sort of pans back, you can catch a glimpse of things under glass. Or encased in, sort of blocks of plastic. And then, of course, the final cell opens, and you see your friend, the Reaper.
Friend, yep.
Yes. Being escorted out. Who, again, in a more human form, is, just sort of looks, just sort of has a just sort of this shadowy aspect to them. And the three of them are brought into this room where a big light shines down. And there is a podium that is awaiting someone's presence. And it looks like there is a sort of a buzz of some kind of, in the air, a buzz of activity, as though something will coalesce there soon. And you can see it sort of comes to you that that is where the Magister will be. And these three that are moving into position, you can see the, again, the Reaper, and the other two. It comes to you that somehow it comes to you that one is the other is the curator, and then another is the gardener. You sort of get that impression. Maybe someone whispers it, as the voices still are going on. Maybe it's probably some of the other prisoners whispering that, actually. And so you can see them, and it is sort of impressed upon you as there is this jeering and shouting from the other prisoners. Like, when the curator is brought out, it's like, oh, they want to let them out to freeze the universe. When the gardener is brought out, it's like, oh, I wonder what species they're going to have them choke out with their new creations. And then, as the Reaper is brought out, it's the thought is, well, or maybe they're just going to slay populations. And then planet by planet. Yeah, and one of the prisoners like, yeah, they just pointed a planet and that's it.
Hey.
So this is what you see. Is there a further avenue you're trying to pursue, or is there something you're doing?
Oh man, I wish that in this moment I could manipulate them into some kind of weird infighting, because now they're out and all together.
Well, you could join the chorus of voices.
Sure, I'll become a chorus and try to sing a solo.
So, strangely, this is kind of like stuff you've done before.
Yeah, it's definitely the Jackson Meade playbook. I'm not fighting anybody. I would like to start a fight. It has nothing to do with me.
What? So what are you trying to do?
Well, I would like to whisper about how many things will be lost if either the Reaper or the Gardener are let free. And how many things will flourish if the Gardener is let free. Just like impressing upon them, like they have opposing goals, but now they all can see each other, just like sort of building that up.
Okay, just to be clear, because you said the Reaper and the Gardener, and then you said the Gardener again.
Because like there's the Reaper and the Gardener, and there's the Collector, right?
The Curator, yes.
Or sorry, the Curator. Like, you know, if either of these two assholes get free,
okay,
then things are going to be ruined. Irreplaceable things will be ruined and destroyed forever. And you know, if the Curator gets free or the Gardener gets free, how many things will live and flourish anyway? Ah,
okay, gotcha. Okay, so advocating both for and against the Curator and the Gardener, and advocating against the Reaper in this chorus that you are inciting.
Yeah, just trying to heighten the sense of of discord.
Gotcha. Okay. So, well, you know what to do. Manipulate another.
It's my favorite thing. Let's see what happens. And since I know a secret, I get that +1.
Oh, yes.
I've got all these sweet, sweet secrets I got from Caladrin.
Very true. Oh!
Well, I can turn that into a 7. What's a 7 on me to play another?
Wait, let me see. Did you already... Okay, so your beauty is +2?
Yeah, my beauty is +2.
Okay, so that's actually a 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you got the +1 from the secret you're using.
Yeah.
Okay. So the full results of this will be will come soon, but 7 to 9, they change the terms to suit themselves or demand concrete assurance first. So there's a certain amount of arguing that you kind of have to do mentally for a little while as this is going on before you're going to be able to get anything like a real good dust up started. But the seeds are taking hold. Yeah, the seeds are starting to take hold. If you work at it, you might be able to stir up something. They're kind of like right now. They're still, they're getting a little rowdier. And my question is, are you going to keep at it, or do you just leave it at that?
I'm just going to keep at it because why not?
All right, we'll be back to that in a bit. Now, so as you folks are so Fergus and Levitt both will see kind of we'll be seeing kind of what there is a situation. Fergus, you're going to note that there are about 7 individuals moving away from the ship of the other crew members. And are you still assuming that do you look at any of them, or do you just assume that Markov is still on the ship?
He's going to mark them. He's going to note them because he wants to know what he was making a guess. So he's checking to see, again, looking at the count, but he's going to see if he can determine who they are. I would like to say, though, I'm willing to put Fergus on hold because I have a plan in my head that is not dependent upon Katy, on Levitt.
Yes,
so if Levitt wants to finish, then I can...
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you're starting to suss out who's who, but let's see how this is going. Let's try this one. So, yeah, so Levitt, you are they're heading toward a portal that seems to a door that has been carved into a large sort of this entrance to a cave heading down. Are you following them, or are you doing something else?
I was going where I was told Markov was.
Yep. Markov, you've caught sight of them. If they're to be believed, Markov is one of the people in the lead at the front of this group of people.
Okay, then I'm going to sort of dip around behind things and try to follow Markov.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Because my goal is to get there for the meeting, to meet with Hickory and my sister.
Okay. Yeah. It's right. There's been no sign of the Timberwolf. None of those people seem to be here yet. Okay. But you do see these, basically this group of, you think most of them look like scientists. Yeah. As far as you can tell. There's and as you're following them, and you just sort of sneak along following, you can see that basically you think, and I don't think it's going to be too difficult, but let's go ahead and read a situation. I think is probably the...
That's fun. That's fun with my -1 brain.
Because I think that'll be easiest. Yep. Excellent. Okay, so that was a 5. The GM makes things worse. Okay, we'll plunge into that in a moment, but you are gonna get some information. So as you're following along, and you will note that so Markov appears to be there. It helps that they have names on, some of them have names on their suits, so Markov is in the lead, is one of the was the pilot, but appears to be running the mission, and you can see there's let me give a couple more pictures here real quick. This again, the lander is not there. But this is sort of to give an example of sort of what it looks like as you're getting up to the cave entrance. Just sort of the terrain, I should say. And you can see that they are trying to sort of descend into this sort of area. It's pretty wide, and there are multiple entrances you're starting to note. this place. As you're sort of heading down, you'll see that that it looks like, as far as the people go, you have, again, the Markov, the captain, the pilot. You have what look like 3 scientists, an engineer, probably a medical officer, and a security officer, with who are coming along. The security officer is actually stopping at the entrance and looking around, as being like, is being like, "Where's Fred?" Basically, type deal.
Rip.
Sorry, Fred. But you by this point have found another. You've already gotten in. I'm not worried about that. But you're going to see that they come further down and further down until things open up into more of a chamber. And I will have one more image of to give just sort of inspiration again for the kind of thing this looks like. This sort of kind of area is a comet interior. It's very cavernous. There are a lot of crystals, sort of all around, embedded in the walls. Several different kinds of crystals, and you see, as you're getting in, it's like you sort of hit this bubble, and like your ears pop, and you can see them looking around. They're sort of nodding, and they're starting to take their helmets off.
Okay, I'll follow suit.
Yeah, it looks like they can breathe in here. The air is very thin, but it is breathable. As they're sort of going up and looking, you will note that as you are sort of, as they're kind of heading in the direction of what looks like a sort of an area toward the back of this cave, this big cave. A number of them are sort of, they're taking readings. There's even a trickle of some liquid flowing through, like a little waterfall. There's coming through here, and they sort of they maneuver around that, and as you come further down, you see this very large. You come into this chamber, this secondary chamber, as that you found a way to get through faster, to get ahead of them. And as you get into this chamber, you see there's a bunch of old, dusty equipment in here, alien devices. There's a big triangular gateway that is here. It does not currently appear to be active, but you hear sort of low-level humming from one or two of the devices, and beyond this gateway is this miasma of darkness. And as you're looking at it, you've kind of taken your helmet off and you're looking, a great eye opens and looks directly at you. It's sort of slitted, reptilian-like. And you don't know if it's entirely solid. It doesn't seem entirely solid. And this blackness beyond the gate, on the outside of it, I should say, not even looking through it, behind it, it's like the chamber falls away to nothing, and there's this darkness on the other side, and something writhing about in it, something very big, is looking at you.
If I step, does it follow me? If I step to the side, does it follow me?
Yes.
Don't like that. I'm going to try to bypass it, step around it.
Jackson, you hear the voice of the warden saying, "Who is this one?" Is this a petitioner? I'm not sure. Someone's here.
Don't mind me.
What are you trying to get? Where are you trying to be?
Yeah, so would Caldron's secrets count as the warden's secrets?
Some of them. I actually was just checking in though with Levitt real quick. Where are you trying to be here? Where are you trying to get?
No, nothing. Just double check. Just thinking about something.
Oh, okay. No. I mean, no, Levitt, where are you trying to be here?
Is there like so this is a gate? Is there like a console or something with it?
Yep. There are controls that would operate it.
I'm going to go to the console and I'm going to call the curator.
Okay. This eye is still following you.
That's fine.
As you head to the console.
Watching, and I'm just like, curator.
Right, so you're gonna go and you're gonna try to. So this is a very old alien console.
I don't think I'm contacting him on the console. I'm contacting him
you're just
on
doing
my
it from there. Okay, yeah, you're using a device from there. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I believe I'm at the gate, and I'm not sure what to do.
Ah.
There's a big eye looking at me.
That's the warden. Be very careful. So, any change you make now, he should not see you tampering. He probably will not mind your presence, because he is there as he knows there are those who are coming. But you're at the console.
I think I have an idea, but tell me what I need to do.
All right. What do you want to? What are you trying to? What are you trying to do?
Can I get you out of here through the console? I think I have an idea of how to make it so he can't see.
Maybe there's a way. You don't happen to have a? Oh, if you only had the key. But
I haven't seen my sister yet, and she has the key.
That would be the easiest way. Oh, this is going to be very difficult. But you can give it a try, I suppose. You're not familiar with transdimensional physics, as you said, correct?
I asked you to explain something to me like I was 5.
Yes,
I don't
that's true.
think
That's
you need
fair.
the answer
All right.
to that.
Maybe there might be. All right. Yes, the gate will be active once you have entered a place called the Null Zone. Jackson, the curator seems to be whispering something to someone. Just so you're aware. Jackson, so yes, you'll be entering. When you enter the Null Zone, the gate will activate. So, yes, there's a thing that might create an opportunity if it functions in a particular way. Yes, a gate sigil needs to be adjusted. If you can get around to the side of the gate, there's a specific spot I can direct you to make an adjustment that might, it won't do it in and of itself, but it will might cause enough of a bit of a stir that it might be possible.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to, I guess, wait until the null sector. And my plan is, Jim, to fire my gun at one of the crystals.
Yes.
To call some sort of like blast or something to hide me doing this.
Okay, I gotcha. So yeah, the adjustment can be made now if you want onto the gate. If you want to do it, it's just basically to set it up so that when it enters the Null Zone, a thing happens.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Okay.
I'm going to fire my gun at one of these crystals to call some sort of. I know it's going to tell people where I am. That's fine.
And actually, this is the thing. If you want, you could wait until just before you hit the Null Zone. He can help time it for you. If you want to do
I'll
it
do
like
that then.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Oh boy. All right. So we are trying to... The thing is, so on the one hand, this is acting with force, but it's as a distraction. So this is kind of a manipulation. But this could also just be acting... I think this... unless there's another move we can think of for this, I'm feeling acting under pressure.
It's gonna be hard.
I mean, it's either that... Well, we could give you... Let me check. Let me see something. Do you have... would manipulate another be easier for you?
I mean, that's beauty, and I have more stat and beauty than balance.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll
roll balance. It's fine.
This is also a manipulation.
Could it be
it's
brawn?
the weird thing.
Because I'm taking control of a situation.
Let's see. There's a thing you got to switch over. Here's the thing. Your presence will be noticed immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we can say, yeah, we can act with force on this one.
Okay.
We can act with force on this one.
Here we go. Let's see if it's good regardless.
All right.
I mean, it's an 8.
Okay. So
I rolled a 1.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
So
my
that's
rolls have been shit.
Well, still, that's an 8. So you're going to choose 2.
I'm going to take definite hold of the situation, so I want to definitely succeed. Harm isn't gonna matter. I guess impress, dismay, or frighten my enemy, unless you think harm is going to, because I don't see that coming into play here.
I don't think harm's going to come too much into play for this in particular, aside from chain reactions, but we'll deal with that. Take hold of the situation, and what was the other one you want to go with?
Impress, dismay, or frighten my enemy. Yeah,
that'll work.
Just that way, like, even more so that he's distracted.
Yeah, that'll cause more chaos,
The
definitely.
warden's distracted, yeah.
Okay, so there's going to come a point where there will be an explosion as there are individuals from the science team have been entering the room and are looking around and are looking at the equipment and are communicating something to each other. And power is coming into the gate, and a shot is fired. Crystals explode. You flip a sigil, and a light wells up. And I think that is where, as we are at a certain amount of time, we're going to have to go to break and find out what happens with that next time, which will probably be our finale.
Once again, Fergus's bond with Levitt is confirmed. They are very dangerous to have around.
They are dangerous to have around. All right.
I didn't kill Markov.
No, that's
yet.
true. Not yet.
Yeah, yet.
There are some more specific details. We'll see what happens momentarily with a few other things. But again, alas, Katy has to dive out. So is there anything you'd like to let folks know before you head out?
Yeah, you can find me all over the internet at Katyface, Twitter, Blue Sky, all that good stuff. I'm a professional DM. I'm currently advertising for an All Bards D&D 5e campaign on Sunday nights. Would love to have you in it if you're interested. Get ready to rock and roll. It's going to be level 5 to 8 is the thing. I think it's going to be a very fun time. About 8 sessions, I think, is what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, if you keep an eye out for games that I'm running and things like that, I've already got one in the bag getting ready when this one stops advertising. But yeah, this was fun. I can't wait for next time. I'm always here to cause chaos. Apparently, that's what I do when I'm here, is just start shit.
Excellent. Yes, I'm looking forward to that too. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and go to break. I've got an interview that's going to play. And we shall be back in just a few moments, and we will see what else happens leading up to this explosion by the gate. We will see you shortly. Welcome to the break. I am here once again with James Introcaso, writer and game designer. Greetings, sir. Greetings.
Greetings. Good to see you, Jim. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you are the creator of Burn Bright, which is a system that is out primarily for folks using Roll20. And I was wondering if you could talk to us about it a bit. Tell us a little bit about Burn Bright, if you would.
Sure, yeah. So Burn Bright, which Roll20 published, right? So they are the publisher and owner, and that's why it's available exclusively on their platform, is a science fantasy RPG that they asked me, along with several other people, Cat Cool, Darcy Ross, and Jim McClure, to create for them. It uses a lot of the bells and whistles of Roll20, but you can actually play it at a table. You still need Roll20 to access the rules, but you could do everything else analog if you wanted to. It takes place in the Olaxis galaxy, which very well may be the last galaxy in existence, because there is this phenomenon that surrounds the galaxy on all sides called the burn. It's like this orange aurora kind of northern lightsy looking thing that slowly closes in on all sides, and as it touches and overtakes planets, space stations, people, everything it touches disappears, never seen or heard from again. And so that creates a lot of problems, resource shortages, refugee crises, lots of people and places suddenly disappearing, greedy corporations profiting, all of that kind of stuff. And the players take on the role of heroes, right? A lot of times in these post-apocalyptic stories, we see people say like, well, what will this do to us? Will this turn us into monsters? And Burn Bright says, you are people who say, no, the end of all things is not a reason to be a bad person. We are still going to do good because it is the right thing to do. And we're going to help people, and, we're going to explore and have fun and maybe make some money along the way, even though it's all coming crashing down. And that's not to say that like everybody's happy, lucky unicorn, people get mad, people get upset. There's emotional moments for sure. But so that's the idea. There are no humans in Burn Bright. Everyone is an alien species that is super powered because of their anatomy and physiology. So there are all sorts of species. We don't have time to get into all 8 of them, but I will shout out 2 of my favorites. One is the Peacecraft. You play a larger individual, like you use like a large sized token, a 2x2 token in Roll20, and you are a mech that can pilot itself, but also your friends can like hop in and combine with you, and you can get all of these features whenever you're being piloted by a friend and working together with them. And there is also the Rornan, which is when you play a Rornan, you play a swarm of telepathic bugs that share one hive mind, right? And so that's really fun because you're moving around and you're telepathic. You might have some telekinesis, that kind of thing, and you can flatten yourself to move through doorways or build yourself into a rope that your companions could climb up. All kinds of things like that. So that's the basic overview. Mechanically, it uses a system that we created from the ground up. And that has been really fun and rewarding to see people play that as well, because the system itself is something new to RPGs that we really, really have enjoyed.
Let's talk a little bit about the system. What are some of the basics for it?
Sure, yeah. So Roll20, you have a skill-based character like you would in like Fate, right? You don't have big attributes like D&D. You have 18 different skills, 6 mental, 6 physical, and 6 social, and each one has a different die size associated with it. D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. The fewer sides your die has, the worse you are with that skill. So if you have a D12, you're really great with a skill. If you have a D4, you're not so good with it. And then every task that you go to complete with a skill, right? A task where failure would make things more interesting. You roll your skill die a number of times equal to the task's complexity. So complexity 2 task is pretty simple. A complexity 4 task is hard. And they go all the way up to complexity 7, right? You roll your dice, and if you have doubles, right? If you have match numbers, then you fail. Otherwise, you succeed, because Burn Bright assumes you're a competent hero, like we see in many science fantasy stories like Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? These people who can take on whole armies at once, even though there's only a couple of them. So it's that idea. And whenever you fail in Burn Bright, you don't just fail, you make things worse. And so you come up with story consequences with the DM. There's also a big table of 100 consequences you can roll on if you or your your GM doesn't have an idea about what you want to do. You can roll on that and check out the consequences for failure and make something fun happen. It's a great game because people love to fail in it too, which was one of our design goals. Like, make failure something exciting that people are like, "Whoa, what's gonna happen?" Right? And so we did that with it, and that's fun. So yeah, those are the very basics of the core rules.
I feel like it's one of the best things that could possibly have happened to RPG mechanics within the last 20 years or so, to actually have a push to make failure interesting.
Yes, right? Because you're still playing a game when you fail, and so you still want it to be exciting, and even, dare I say, fun, if you can get there, right? It's when you're playing a board game and you fail, that's different because it's competitive, right? But for this, so many RPGs don't have a competitive bent. Some do. So it's good to be able to say, like, how can we embrace this so it's not just like, well, sorry, nothing happens, and that's boring. And it also increases the tension. There's good reasons in Burn Bright for having failure have a consequence and a cost associated with it, because we want people to feel like they're gambling when they make skill rolls in combat, and so that's a big part of it.
Nice. Well, if you can let us know a little bit, if we can delve into a little bit of the history here, what kind of led you to Burn Bright? How did you sort it out?
That's a great question. So when I was working with Roll20 at the time, I had created an adventure that's available for free. It's like a D&D starter adventure, teaches you how to use D&D and how to use Roll20. They commissioned me to make it. It's called the Master's Vault. You can download it for free from Roll20 and check it out. And so at the time when we were working on it, I said to them, hey, this is cool, you all creating your own content, right? You have this platform where you sell Wizards of the Coast products and Paizo products and Chaosium and all this other stuff. Have you ever thought about doing it yourself? Kind of like Netflix, right? Used to have other people's stuff. Now they have other people's stuff and their own stuff. And they said, funny you bring that up. We do want to do that. And we want to create an original role-playing game. We're thinking sci-fi. Are you interested in putting together a team to work on it? And I was like, holy, yes, absolutely. And so I got together with the team, and we said, like, okay, we formed our team. What do we like? What don't we like? And we started to talk about exploration and how, like, in science fantasy, and we did fantasy because none of us are scientists. Well, actually, that's not true. Darcy Ross is a scientist.
That is true.
Yes, true. But none of us are astrophysicists, and so we wanted to be able to do things without having to science them. So we were like, hey, if we magic them, it's easier to explain for us. So that was the idea behind science fantasy. And then similarly, the idea for the Burn came from fantasy and sci-fi are so mind-blowing in their expansiveness, and you can go to all these different planets, and you can we wanted to be able to keep the universe contained, so we didn't over-design it, and that's where the idea from the Burn came from our laziness, basically. But it's really the driving force of the whole setting now, and so I'm really, really glad we came up with it. And I should mention that Bright is spelled B-R-Y-T-E, because it's that's the term for an age in the game, right? So there's, like, the Age of War is called the War Bright, and the Age of Exploration is called the Exploration Bright, and so you're in the Burn Bright because it's the age of the Burn.
Awesome. Well, I got to squeeze in one more question, setting related, or even just creative process related, because I'm just too curious here. What brought you to decide no humans for this setting?
That's a great question. So that is something that Kat and Darcy and Jim really pushed for at the beginning. And the reason behind that, which I really love and agree with, is that if you have humans, right, every other species or ancestry in your setting kind of becomes a monolith in that they're compared to humans, right? So like we often think of elves as like they're like humans, but they live in the woods and they're graceful and they, you know, they don't have as many they don't have as much diversity within them as humans do. And they wanted that diversity of personalities and cultures and things like that in every species. So that's what we did. In Burn Bright, every species has a home world and like a home culture that we talk about in depth, but we also say that like, but you don't have to, you know, you don't have to have this culture. You could have grown up here or here or here, and we give you the tools to build your own as well.
Thank you so much for doing that, by the way, because that is something that is sorely needed in RPGs, I think, and just in fiction in general, really, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. And I got to give credit to the three other members of the team, because that was really, they were the push for that. But I am a true believer in that, and like I'm so glad we did it that way. And it's also the way the game works out, right, is that like so much of what your character can do is dependent on their what we would think of as humans alien anatomy, that I'm not sure what I would really do for humans. You know what I mean? It would be like, hey, you're a human, so you're kind of good at everything, and that always feels bland in an RPG as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, so folks looking for this, they should go on Roll20 and do a search for Burn Bright? Is that what we're looking at?
So it's available in the Roll20 marketplace. You can also go to burnbright.com. Roll20 built a special page for it where you can learn more there.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for talking to us. I really appreciate it. If anyone wants to find you online, where should they go?
So you can follow me on Twitter at James Introcaso and over at worldbuilderblog.com.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to throw things back to myself now, and we will catch you later.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
we have returned. And so meanwhile, or actually slightly earlier perhaps, since we now know the immediate future, or at least we outside of the game know the immediate future. We're going to rewind a bit, and we're going to find out Fergus's plan. Fergus is doing things. So you basically will have a sense of as you're so do you try to actually go and look at and to try to determine one from another, or are you just entirely relying on readings?
If they pass close enough that he can tell that he can read them, then yes, he's not going to make extra effort.
Okay. So you're not gonna try to. Yes. Okay. So yeah, you can still be fairly cautious and just sort of drive, because they can't hear you driving the buggy. They're on foot. You are going to note, however, there is more than one entrance down into the interior.
Okay.
Of this place, of this comet.
So he can see them, and he knows that they're heading towards this entrance.
Yeah. So you're gonna probably, I assume, you're gonna be trying to pull out like, binocular. You had another question you didn't ask before.
Yes.
That's right.
But that's that question is going to depend on whether or not he notes Markov is, where Markov is.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no, it's probably not. It's not going to be.
Okay.
So, do you want me to ask the question first?
If you would go ahead, and then we'll shape things as needed.
Okay. The question is, he knows now that the biggest threat are these explosives on board this ship.
Yes.
What's my best way in?
Okay. Into the ship? Or
Yep.
into... Okay, all right. I'm going to answer that in a moment.
Okay.
As you are sitting there, you've got your binoculars or whatever they are. Your macro binoculars.
Mm-hmm.
Futuristic science devices that can be used to see people.
Space goggles.
Space goggles. Yeah. So it's this cluster of 7 people that are heading into this cave. And from, again, the signatures, are you trying to pick up on their communications between each other, or
So, I mean, if he can, he's not making extra effort. I just want to say he's taking whatever information that he's already got coming into his tablet and noting that.
You can kind of find their frequencies and kind of figure. Yeah, so you're looking and you see that, so they do have their names on their uniforms.
Okay.
As you know, and it takes a minute to be like, hey, wait, was that Markov? That could be Markov. And, you know, you get to swing around to see like the chest plate. And one of the ones in the lead is Markov.
Okay. Does Fergus note Levitt?
From what you can see of Markov's face, it's been a number of generations.
Yeah.
But there is, there's something kind of about the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think maybe he might be. He might be from the same family. Maybe.
Yeah.
The other names of people you can see. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want the other? It doesn't matter necessarily.
No,
do you want the names?
No, he's just focused. Once he identifies Markov, that's enough for him. He's going to turn his focus back to the ship.
I will say that the person he's talking to, the name on her plate, last name is Shackley.
Okay.
Which that's the only other name you might recognize from this.
Yeah.
Anyway. And same for those watching, that's the same last name as the one of the a doctor and a former spokesperson for the Crown Mining Company, who is now deceased. Anyway, so I think Levitt was doing a good enough job that they're able to stay concealed. Okay. So you're not quite sure where Levitt is.
All right.
But you do know where the ship is.
She's back on the ship. Yeah. So yeah. It's so like he's focused on getting on the ship.
Yeah. You're not sure if Levitt's on the ship. Yeah. It's hard to know. But yeah, you don't really have a focus on it because you're focusing on something else. You just took off. So
yeah.
You could be back on the ship. You don't know what Levitt's doing. Levitt is chaos. Your best way in, out, or way past. Yes. Way in, way out, way past. So, as you kind of drive the buggy back in the direction of the ship, you do note there are about you're like 4 or 5 more life signs on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
That are still kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
You think just doing stuff at different parts of the ship. There are a couple of access hatches.
So just to let you know, his goal is to get to those explosives.
Ah. You're not sure where. Well, so you know the part of the ship. You can see that from what you can see from your readings, you think that the ship, that the part of the explosives are. Let me think about this for a second. Yes. You think ships.
Mm-hmm.
There's a. I kind of wish I had gotten a floor plan, but we can do this without one.
Yeah.
You think there's a section of the ship you think was probably housing a science lab, and from your readings, you think that from your readings it's next to the science lab. It's in a room next to the science lab.
Okay.
Science lab is roughly in the middle of the ship, not too far from the. A little closer to the bridge than to the engines.
Okay.
There are access hatchways in a few different places. So there is a hold that has it's a small hold that's further back that has a ramp that if you can get it to open, you can go up. There's a main entrance that's another ramp that they came out of. Okay. And then there are various access hatchways in other parts of the ship.
Which one's going to be his best way in?
Probably into the hold, because it doesn't seem like there are any other life forms right around there. Okay.
Then that's what he wants to do.
You don't think they're expecting anyone to board the ship?
Yep. So Fergus has made this decision to do that. And so he's going to approach that. Based on his sensor readings, can he tell standing on the surface of this asteroid that if he is in his true form as a Val, can he survive on this asteroid for at least a few minutes? And not survive, but to stay competent and able.
Vacuum of space. Is there air on?
That's what I want to know. Is there a thin atmosphere on this asteroid, and is it enough for him to, as a Val, to manage?
How is the atmosphere on your planet?
Thin, cold. It's kind of dying star.
Yeah. I imagine. Yeah, because you don't have, you probably don't have enough. I expect Val, by the time you came around, didn't have enough greenhouse gases to be able to maintain what it needed to maintain. For like humans to survive on there. So I imagine that and I think you talked about the other humans coming in spacesuits, right? When they showed up? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that you probably could last a few minutes. It's not good for you. It will not be good for you to go without a helmet. Because you do need air.
Yes. Yeah.
But you could probably, it's not. The comet does have an atmosphere. It's not vacuum.
Okay.
It's kind of like a little bit. It's kind of like being up on the moon, right?
Yeah.
So like you're not going to explode. It's not going to be pleasant.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. As he's gonna park the buggy away. He doesn't want it showing up. He's going to get close enough because he's aiming for this ramp to get in through the hold. He's going to take off his spacesuit when he gets close enough to leave close by, like around a foot of the ship or something like that. He's going to take his Val form and leave the helmet on, and that's how he wants to. That's the form he wants to be in as he gets on this ship.
Now, something I should mention, because it occurs to me, right?
Yep.
We can absolutely do it this way if you like.
Okay.
It does occur to me, however, you have had, at least a couple hundred years. So it is possible that you have a spacesuit that can accommodate the Val form.
Okay.
I just wanted to, in all fairness, point that out.
Right.
To you.
Yeah. Okay,
now,
that's fine.
It's up to you if you think you would have one. Or if you have, because I imagine you'd have something adjustable. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. So, but that's what he wants to do.
This is not meant to be a freebie. This is just, it makes sense to me that this would be.
Yeah.
If you see what I'm saying.
That. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's go with it.
So I don't think you have to take this suit off. The only thing taking the suit off would help is if you want to look more intimidating, right?
Right.
You'll still look intimidating because I assume Val are bigger than people, bigger than humans, right?
Large heads, very thin, ropey, muscle bodies. They look like emaciated marathon runners with large, kind of round, bulbous heads that are full of teeth.
So it's a thing with when you're in your human form, the suit looks maybe a little loose, but you actually have everything secured. Yeah. But you've got it and the helmet looks a little too big for you.
Yeah.
But that's why. So you can change and not die. Okay. Yeah, I imagine it's been at least a century since you've had to do the thing we were talking about where you take the suit off.
Yep.
Okay. So you basically so you Hulk out.
Taller, broader shoulders, kind of long gangling limbs.
Okay. Let me look at a thing because the creature descriptor
yes,
okay.
I have it.
This is who I am, but we're not showing this to anyone yet.
Nope.
So we'll have that on standby.
Yep.
So you are now bigger, broader shouldered, bigger head. Anglerfish in a helmet. And you are near where this you are close to this place where you can see the ramp. You're under the ship. You can see the ramp where the ramp is. It's closed currently.
Just like with his own ship. He starts humming. And he uses the tool and he starts to find the frequency to dial in on how to manipulate the ship.
Okay. All right. So, honestly, I feel like this would be acting under pressure.
All right. What I love is I have a +1 towards any rolls acting on these questions, my answers to these questions. So
This is true. Yeah,
All
this
right,
is
so
your
I'm-
best way in.
Yep. All right. So balance.
Mm-hmm.
+1 is a 13.
12. Excellent. Okay. You got a 13. You got a 13 total. Perfect roll. Got a 13 total on this. So
Things are going to go really, really wrong soon, folks. I'm just letting you know.
yeah, no. It's the pendulum always swings.
Yeah.
You find the frequency. After a moment. And this thing opens. You probably do not have long before someone figures out that the ramp is open, but it's open.
He's booking it towards where that room is. Yeah. He's moving.
Okay.
He's using every bit of his self
Now-
to get there.
Something I do need to point out as you climb up the ramp and you're heading in, and you see that there are a couple of corridors you have to kind of like sort of turn through, and you can see into this lab. From your readings, you think the explosives, there's like a thing that's like a cold storage chamber.
Okay.
And you think that's probably where it is. Now, there is a person in the lab.
Alrighty.
This is probably one of the scientists or scientist assistants.
Helmet off. Sets it on the ground next to the door. Sets it aside. And opens the door to walk in, and he's carrying his tool, weapon, bolty thing in his hand, and he just strides in and grins at the scientist, showing off all his teeth.
Okay. Just making a decision real quick. Yes. All right. Yes, that's what we want. Okay. I'm just going to borrow this name real quick and reassign it later. So this person is not wearing a spacesuit. This person is wearing a lab coat, because this is, a contained environment. There's not a lot of stuff in the hold. As you're coming forward, and you're just going to reveal yourself. Roll plus balance. This is who I am. Is your
I can do that, or I can act with force.
Oh. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you're not trying. Oh, okay. You want to just what do you want to do to this person?
I don't. Well, I'm kind of like where Katy was with. Do I intimidate them, or am I acting with force?
Oh, okay. Well,
but I also can see where this is who I am. So
do you want to? Well, let me first ask. You're just gonna walk in without trying to be quiet about it, right?
No, he's just walking in.
Okay. Well, let's start. So this person turns around. Looks she's got her hair back. It's kind of up in a bun. Sort of light brown. She turns around and just sort of stops and is like,
I let the door close behind me, and I look at her and I say, "Let me into there." And he points to the cold storage. Don't. You can die here, or you can survive.
So obviously she's trying to hit she's feels like she's reaching for an emergency button. And so this is intimidate another, I think.
Yeah.
So
All
please
right.
roll plus brawn.
Am My +1 would make it an 8, so it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't really
Won't
matter.
change it. Yep.
Have you taken your helmet off, or is it still on right now?
Yeah. No, he's taking his helmet off.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
set it
So
aside next to the
he's
door.
anglerfish. Okay. So you get a 7. This is intimidate another. So you choose one of the things.
Well, he's asked them.
Or they
to,
choose one of the things. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And he's asked them to open up the cold storage. Or the room
And-
that he believes that the explosives are in.
They either get out of your way, they give you something they think you want, or they tell you what you want to know. Yeah, they're like, I think she's going to run.
Okay.
I don't think she's going to get out of your way.
Okay.
'Cause I don't think she wants to, I don't think she wants any of this.
Yep. If she has to go past him, he's just gonna knock her out.
Oh no, she can continue in the direction of the bridge, basically.
Okay. So he's going to start moving with purpose and
But she does
speed.
not hit the emergency button, so it's going to take a tiny bit longer
Yep.
for any alarms
he-
to start going off.
He needs to open that door. He needs to get into that cold storage.
Okay, you
Into that
head
room.
over. There's a keypad.
He hums again.
Okay. This, once again, is going to be acting under pressure.
All right, here we go.
Nope.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Whoops. Oh
So-
dear.
Here's
Well,
the thing.
I told you, folks. That was a 4. A +1
You're
makes
going
it
to
a 5.
find-
I failed.
You're going to find the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And you ultimately, with your tool, are able to, like, do a thing. You end up having to open the panel to make it work. So you have to get behind it
Okay.
and move a couple of wires around. And as the door is opening, an alarm starts going off. Not related to the door, necessarily. An alarm starts going off. There's... And you hear someone's voice saying, warning, warning, we have an intruder. They're what was the term that I used? Xeno-organism! So, I need to, now, I'm going to shift for a moment. Jackson,
Oh yes.
you can hear, it sounds like the curator is starting to talk to someone. And from another place, because your feelers are all out right now,
Mm-hmm.
you hear this some sort of warning. Not coming from your ship. You don't know where it's coming from. Intruding. It's a warning, warning. We have an intruder, a xeno-organism. And there is a moment where the Reaper, sort of looking around, and is starting to look in your direction. And the Reaper, you hear the Reaper say, I think your friend is in trouble.
Are you in trouble?
If anything happens to them, I might be in a position to undo it. Soon. if you fulfill our bargain.
Right. Just wanted to know where you were with things. How are things going for you? Is it well?
They dangle this in front of us, make a show of it. And all they want us to do is save them from embarrassment.
What kind of embarrassment? Like, what kind of embarrassment would happen?
They're little pet projects.
All right.
Like, their little pet projects as they pit the ants against each other, and it doesn't go the way they want. Humanity is not turning out as they had wanted.
Okay.
So they
So
wish a culling.
All right. So what do you think we did wrong?
And, oh, my opinion differs a little from theirs.
Oh.
I think that as you understand, there are ways to transcend life. Into a greater unlife. And I think humanity is doing all right with that. But you could be doing it faster.
Faster. Okay. I'll have to take notes on faster.
But then you're not my project. Not
Oh,
yet,
what?
anyway.
Oh, what's your project?
No. They took them away from me long ago.
Oh. Where do you think they are now? Are they gone?
They those who remained hid away. They almost understood the transcendence. They almost got it.
Ooh. Does your project happen to look like an anglerfish?
Oh, that would be telling, wouldn't it?
It would. Almost will explain why you would be willing to help my friend if they got hurt. It's not really about me. It's about you, right? It's about what you need to do.
Very clever. Yes, I might have made a few moves at that time to help make the whelp that whelp of a cartographer's project a little more interesting.
All right.
Took advantage to see. And they almost made it. Do you not know what they can perceive now? They can see beyond the edge. No other corporeal species has achieved that.
Oh, I should probably ask them about that.
I was not permitted to finish. And if they do release me, I shall be once again just their janitor.
So if you wanted to finish, what would that look like?
Had I the time, I would probably bring those that remain closer, as close to the brink as I can. See if they can truly become the bridge I think they can. Between life and unlife.
Does it take being nearly dead to get to be a bridge? Is that what you're saying? Does it take
No.
Oh no.
It only normally goes one way, you see. But a bridge can be crossed from either side.
Little exploit there. You just kind of get to walk out whenever you want. I like that. New road. I'm all about new roads.
Yes, you do enjoy making highways, do you not?
I do enjoy connecting things and connecting people and goods. And your projects are good. I would love to get you, get you to chat with them and me to chat with you, so we could all, just understand, the forces of power at play here. But what if I said I could go get a key, and you wouldn't have to be a little walkie guy. You could just be like a cool guy, right? But I need you to get the gardener. That's what I need, because I can't, because he has an advocate, and I can't have him.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, you are now attempting to manipulate another.
Yep.
You're attempting to manipulate a deity. Go ahead.
Look,
It's what Jackson does.
This is
But this is the level you're playing at now, so
look, Space Ham is like, almost a hobby now, right? Like
Yep.
And let's see here. Since I've learned about the vow, I will gain a +2 against him. That seems like a pretty juicy secret.
Oh God, it is.
Boom, love that. All right, let's see here. Roll beauty.
You're so charming. You just got the Reaper talking.
All right, it's 11.
Okay. Yeah, because that's 9 plus the 2 for the fact that you know that. Yes, you now know that the Reaper is the one that foiled Caladrin's experiment. Yeah, and killed the planet Val. Okay. So let's see. Manipulate another. Yes. So 11, 10 plus. It works. Whether you keep the promise later is up to you. So let's see. No, you've promised to basically help them complete their project.
Yeah.
If they take out the gardener.
Yep.
As another, it's like, and they roil in that for a moment. You will have access to the vessel then.
I in fact will.
All right, I see. And they just sort of they'll say yes, that's true. The gardener does have a being out there that they're working on as a potential advocate, but they perhaps have not even realized it. They work very slowly. I see. And, understand I shall have to do this circumspectly.
I wouldn't tell you how to do your business.
We shall see each other again soon.
Absolutely.
And, they just sort of, in your mind's eye vision you've had of these people standing in this light, the Reaper turns their head to look at this sort of fuzzy individual, multi-eyed individual sitting between them and the curator. And there's a crack of the jaw as their bony smile seems to widen. And they're going to just sort of seem to lean back and just look at... There's not exactly a crowd, but it's like they're looking at something or someone on their side of reality, and something is happening. You have set another thing in motion. And I'm just going to check once more. You're going to continue to work toward the getting everyone riled up still while this is going on?
Yeah, I just figure, getting the Reaper just going will help in some way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and there's this moment when something is going on, and it's like the Reaper rises up and seems to fall over. And forces start to move in the Reaper's direction. As the warden is like, wait, what's going on over there? What happened? And the gardener figure just sort of is looking up, and the gardener looks up and says, I don't know. The curator is busy talking to someone else. But there's no focus on that. As the Reaper is moved, but you get the sense that whatever the Reaper is doing, they're doing it very much on purpose.
Love it.
To get into a better position. Let's hop back to the science vessel, the Vigilant. Meanwhile, on board the Vigilant, alarms are going off. Fergus, you have this cold storage bay open.
Mm-hmm.
There are several containers in here of that look like that are there mostly for the storage of minerals. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
On shelves leading back toward the back. That's what you see.
Do I recognize which ones are the explosives?
They're not marked explosives.
No,
Strangely.
but
Actually, that's the interesting thing. The explosives are not marked. They look exactly like the other containers.
Excellent.
Perhaps they're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, are these glass containers?
They're not glass containers. You can't see through them. No, they're kind of more like big, sort of black plastic looking things.
Oh, that's even better.
Like, yeah.
So Fergus is gonna pull off a glove, and part of being a vow is having these kind of claws, these long, thick fingernails. And so he's just gonna grab one, puncture it, and throw it through the door. Grab another, puncture it, throw it through the door. He's just gonna start chucking these things at the people coming into the lab.
Okay, I need to, before you do that, I just want to make sure I understand, first of all, what you're doing, and then I need to explain what you're seeing before you start doing it.
Okay.
First of all, when you say grabbing a thing and puncturing it, are you talking about the empty containers?
Aren't they full?
Or are you talking about... Are you trying to find the explosives amongst the empty containers?
Yes.
So is that are you like just grabbing the containers and puncturing them and throwing them out? Is that what you were doing, or were you describing something else?
If they're not labeled and he doesn't recognize the labels as being particularly of being explosives.
The thing with it is, first off, how are you trying to determine which ones have the explosives in them? Are you just looking in the boxes, or are you doing something
Well,
else?
he's checking the labels first. Are there labels on
none
any
of these are labeled.
Okay.
They were going to land here and perhaps gather minerals.
So he's not in the room where the explosives are, although
you are in the room where the explosives are. Yes, they're not labeled.
Okay, so
they're not they're probably in one of these boxes. They are not labeled.
Let's start ripping those boxes open and trying to figure out where the explosives are.
It's going to take you a moment. If you're going in, rooting through, you're kind of using your sensors to try to narrow it down. That makes it a little faster. And toward the back, and you hear people rushing into the lab as you find this.
Yep.
Yeah. Inside, on a lower shelf, toward the back, concealed behind a couple of other boxes that are empty. There are a couple of these like crate-sized boxes that you will see. There's actually a couple of fully wired bombs.
Oh, excellent.
That looking at them, they could take out this ship.
Oh, good.
If used properly. I mean, this is the future. They're adjustable so that they might not, so you can make them not explode as big. But there are bombs in there. They're not easily like.
Yeah.
A human can't easily like heft and throw. They're
I'm not
big
human.
solid thing. Yes, that's why I specified that.
Okay.
But so these are like big solid, kind of the. There's a very popular game out now, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. It's about the size of like a suitcase bomb. So I'll say that they're in total, I said a couple, but they're like a couple in each crate. So there are 4 of these.
Okay.
Suitcase-sized bombs. That's about the size we're talking about. So about,
Okay.
And they're not active. They don't look like they're armed, but they're here. And to be clear, arming them and getting them to go off would take a little time.
I've been humming to find the frequency. So even if he's humming to find the frequency.
Yeah, even if you're humming to find the frequency, it's still going to need. It might be a little bit of a shortcut, but it's still.
Okay, so
it's not like press and go. It's a bomb. They're built a little more safely than that.
Yeah. Well, these are the bad guys. You never know.
Are they? I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. So he's gonna take one of these things and he's gonna start humming, trying to find the frequency.
Right. There are people in the lab. They're starting to make their way to.
And he's going to walk towards them, holding this bomb, looking at them as he's humming, waiting for it to
this will be
arm.
interesting.
I'm trying to intimidate.
Okay. So there are let's see. I said there are about half a dozen folks left on the ship, roughly ish. So let me quickly see who we have here.
At this, I want to make this clear. At this point, if this leads to Fergus's death, he and I are both okay with that. He trusts Jackson to do what's best. Jackson is the negotiator. Jackson is the one that has the plan for how to make this all great.
Oh, sure.
So, if this ends with Fergus going boom, I'm okay with this.
No, that's fine.
I'll just play Trinket for the last episode.
Well, yeah, that's it. So there are a couple of let's see. One security was going with them. So there are two left on the ship. You see these two guys that look like security folk. Their uniforms look a little different. They're holding guns. They're holding holding their pulse guns. Did you hear as they come in?
Fergus is holding this suitcase in front of his
standing
body.
there, and you're holding this suitcase that in front of you, and while you're humming,
yes,
you see and a couple of the scientists are like in the in the background. They're not there's at least the scientist that you saw earlier is doing something. So go ahead and make your intimidation roll, please.
Okay.
We'll see kind of how this plays out.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. Intimidate another. They roll plus brown. They choose cave in and do what you want, or endure the consequences of your threat.
Yep.
So this is going to take a moment because there's the way this works.
Yep.
Stuff is involved. You're trying to find the frequency. Are you actively trying to find the frequency that'll set the bomb off?
That's
okay.
why he's humming. Yes.
All right. They're they look surprised. The security people, these two security people are looking at you. They look at the suitcase. They're like, and they turn to each other, and one turns to the other. So, what is that? It looks like it. Is that an explosive? And they're sort of looking at each other. Are you going to say anything to them, or are you just going to keep humming?
He's going to keep humming.
Okay. And they're like, what the hell is it doing? I don't know.
He's also continuing to walk forwards towards the door that he came into.
Yeah, they haven't shot at you yet because you've got this thing that might be an explosive. They're not sure.
Yeah, that's why he's continuing to move.
They did not expect it to be there. they didn't expect to see that. But they're like, what the hell are we doing with explosive? And one of these turns to the scientist. One on the right is like, what the hell are they doing with an explosive? That's one of ours, isn't it? What the hell do we have an explosive on board? And, you see the other security guard that's not arguing is like, what did you do? Why are you here?
Still walking towards the door, still humming. Waiting for this bomb to activate. Just start its countdown.
Okay, are you are actively trying to, well, they're going to do what you want. I think they're going to cave in and do what you want. Which I presume is to just let you go.
Yes, it is.
Okay. They're just like, they're shocked as hell that there's even a bomb here. Granted, they're shocked as hell that you're here. This is a first contact situation for them.
Yeah.
They heard about the thing that happened on, they know about the thing that happened on Metaxas, but they're still like, yeah, so they're actually, they see that you're moving toward the back, and you just hear sort of behind you, it's moving toward, it's moving aft. It's moving aft. And they're letting you go. They're not firing.
Excellent. He's going to snatch up his helmet as he exits the lab. So he's got the bomb in one hand in front of him, and he's got his helmet in the other.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to continue walking towards that ramp.
Okay. You have a bomb.
I have a bomb.
You have a ramp in front of you.
Yep. When do I find
it's still
frequency?
down. They haven't raised the ramp yet because there was an alert going on. You head toward the ramp. You can see that one of the in the back there's an engineer who's just like who's like walking in and sees you and is like, oh, shit. And because they were starting to come in, they'd put on their helmet because it's the hold is currently open. So this person this engineer that's in just sort of has just come in, just looking. It's like they flatten themselves against the wall watching you. This engineer, not armed. And you start heading for the ramp. I need to know if you're intending to, if you are, because
his intentions are to leave the ship once he clears the ramp, or is even partially clear of the ramp. Once he realizes he's got the frequency and this thing is going to go off, he's going to toss it back into the ship and run.
So we need to make sure that goes off well.
Yes.
So I'm going to need to ask you to act under pressure.
All right. Do I get the +1 from what is my biggest threat?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. I got a 0 to balance. Let's see how this goes.
8.
I'll take the 9. Yeah.
So 8, 9, and so let's see. Acting under pressure.
I falter, buckle, or break. You can offer me a worst outcome, bargain, or an ugly choice.
Let's see. I need to decide which one of those I want to do to you. Let's see. So, yeah. So here's the thing. One thing. Were you at all concerned about at what level this thing was going to be set when it went off?
He wants it. He's assuming that unless it's modified, it's going to go off at its highest level. He doesn't know, but
Okay. So
I said I'm willing for him to be caught in the blast on this, and if this is the end of Fergus, great. I'm good with that.
well, there are a couple of options here.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Yes, actually. Yeah.
Oh, goody.
I think
Love it when you make that noise.
I think this is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
You make that assumption. You get down the ramp. You chuck this bomb. It is hurtling through the air toward the ramp. And at that moment, you enter the null zone.
Oh.
Oh.
A wave rolls over the comet of energy. Just passing through you and everything else. The bomb, as it is hurtling through the air, something changes on the bomb. You're not clear what it is. You hear a beep. And you hear it starting to go off, like... There's a bright flash of light. Jackson. There is a rumbling explosion that you're able to sense through what you are doing. Even through this metaphor you've been watching. There is rumbling. There is the start of unruliness. Prisoners are starting to shout as though something is happening. You feel the null zone as it washes over you. And you feel the gate blaze to life.
Wait a minute.
And you see very quickly, the last thing you see before you're blinded is a couple of things. One is a prison riot is beginning. The Reaper is suddenly waking up and tearing his guard in half. And then very quietly, amidst the chaos, before there is light at the podium, as though something's going to coalesce there, but before it can, you just notice at the edge of the light, the curator, the energy being, looks at a timing device, nods, and steps to the right amidst the chaos.
You son of a bitch.
And someone has arrived through the gate. And that is where we're going to leave it. For this
All
week.
right. Well, shit.
See, Lovett's not the only one that can make an explosion happen.
I would like to say that I've caused 0 explosions.
But this is your second riot.
Yeah, I caused riots, not
Third.
explosions.
Third. That's
Yeah,
right.
it's my
Third riot.
riot.
You created the perfect environment for this to happen. And so we
That
will
tracks.
see how things coalesce in what I think is going to be our finale. Next time. I think we're about there. There's a lot. There's so much. But I think maybe we're about there. So, let us get to our outros, shall we? You go around? You can let folks know how they where they can find you if you wish. Feel free to plug whatever you like. And give any final thoughts you have about the state of things in this session. And we are starting with Cleric.
Hi, I'm Cleric of Cord. My pronouns are she, her. I've been playing Fergus, who is he, him, and apparently now channeling his inner chaos gremlin, aka Love It. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. As I said, I have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting. I lurk in a bunch of different Discord servers. You can find me over on Blue Sky. Y'all, thanks for showing up. This has been a blast. Mic drop.
There it is. Well, there we are. There we are. All right. And we are now going to head over to Hollow.
Hey, I'm Hollow. You can find me on Blue Sky at Hollow Invective, also over on that other place where people still happen to be. I lurk around some Discord servers as well. I am here on Sundays when life isn't lifing, and also Tuesdays for the 9 Fox Gambit game here on Channel Underdark. So you can find me there as well, and you can find a lot of other faces and a lot of chewing gum.
Yes. Much gum. So much gum. Entire networks of gum. Entire calendars made of gum. It's insane. Well. And I guess that leaves me. I have no idea how things are going to turn out, but things are going to happen. Things are definitely going to happen. So this will be very interesting. Be very interesting. So, who am I when I'm not being several different eldritch extra-dimensional entities? Well, I'm Jim. You can find me at Otherdoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Wherever I'm not Otherdoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below here on Twitch, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. So, we do have a 9 Fox Gambit game on Tuesdays. This coming Tuesday, we will not be streaming, but we are preparing. We are preparing for our return, and so we should be back the following Tuesday. And
Tuesday after.
Yes, Tuesday week we shall be back, and it's I think going to be very good. It's going to be very good. There will be another factor will be entered into what's going on, and I think it's going to be very interesting. See how things go. And of course, Sunday afternoons is when we do this game, when we have folks. And probably 1 week from today, I am going to do a little coordinating behind the scenes to make sure that this is the best day for everyone to be able to make the finale. But it should be probably 1 week from today, but more than likely 1 week from today, we will bring this in for a landing. And we will see what happens to humanity. Upcoming, I do have at the beginning of November 1st, I do have a one-shot I'm going to be running as part of the Extra Life Marathon over on Valdrianth's channel. I was going to be playing, but we had, unfortunately, the GM had a real-life emergency, or had a real-life thing going on, and so I am stepping in, and I'm running inspectors like I did last year. And so we can look forward to that. That again it's going to be a week from Friday is when that's happening. That afternoon. And there's other stuff in the works that will be happening. But more on that as we get closer to it. So, when we hit the end card, we're probably going to send a raid over to somebody. There are a couple of folks who are doing things, and we're going to go say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.